Hey guys, I'm your host, David Powell, and you're listening to Curiously Veg Radio. Hey guys, welcome to episode 39 of Curiously Veg Radio. For those who are new, Curiously Veg is a movement which will open a dialogue between vegan, vegetarian, plant-based, and non-plant-based people alike, where we educate, not intimidate. If you've been here before, you know to say it. If you're new, say it next time. Oh yeah! If you like the show and maybe you have something interesting you would like to talk about, or maybe you're tired of hearing me talk for these past couple episodes by myself, and you're like, if he had someone else on the show, then I would dig it. But why don't you be the person? Why don't you come on, have a chat with me? I got Skype. Can talk to anyone in the world. Doesn't matter who it is. I got a few episodes lined up for interviews, finalizing a few things. But if you would like to be a guest or a guest host, you can go to our website, curiouslyvegradio.com. Go to the contact form, a little tippy tap on the keyboard, see a message saying, "Hey, I want to be a guest. I want to be a guest host, and maybe what you'd like to talk about." I'll get back to you. We can work out a time and a place. If you would like some feedback like that, same way. But if you don't like going on the website, maybe you're on your phone, curiouslyveg@gmail.com. Great way to contact me. Of course, the website, again, curiouslyvegradio.com. There's all of our social, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am posting on Instagram lately, and I tend to post a little bit more on Facebook. But Instagram get a little more play. Twitter, a little bit play. But Facebook's definitely where you're going to get a little more, especially if I start doing live videos, which I hopefully will start doing very soon. Facebook is the way to go. And of course, if you like the episode, like previous episodes, remember to subscribe. That way, you're always notified when new episodes come out. And we love to get ratings. If you're in your little podcast app, give it a little heart, star, thumbs up, horseshoe, balloon, clover, and. That's a joke. I say every time. I know no one else finds funny, but I find it funny, so I will always say it. And of course, iTunes is a great place to leave reviews. We haven't had one in a while. I read them on the air. I don't read just 5 stars. You give me a 4.999. I'll still read it. I'll still read a non-5er. It's fine. But leaving reviews is a great way for how people find us. Kind of bumps us up on some lists and makes it easier for people to notice us and kind of get our message out, as well as kind of, for the efforts of helping people move to a plant-based diet or just get healthy. We don't always talk about diet. We talk about mental health and emotional health as well. And it's for those who are returning, if it sounds a little different today, I have switched my mic out. My little stand, the little guy I have this thing that attaches to my desk that holds my microphone. And the mic I usually use, you can probably hear me messing with it. It's the little hinge that keeps it detached is no longer doing its job. It is no more. It has ceased to be for you Monty Python fans out there. So I'm gonna have to get a new one. But I switched the mic out. Luckily, I had an extra mic. So this is actually one of the mics I used at the very, very, very beginning. Not the first episode. That was a terrible mic. So if you actually like this one, let me know. I might just stick with this one. I kind of like the sound of it. The other one's black as my soul. So I like that one. It's a little heavier, but this one's cool, like green and gold. I like this one as well. Today I wanted to no guest today, and it's a short episode of me venting, rambling, and hopefully educating a few people. I wanted to talk about not necessarily myths, but health things that I hear either vegans saying or other people out in the, not necessarily the industry, but out in the health world saying, and it kind of makes me shake my head, and it's like, do you believe that? Did you think that through? Did you look that up before you said anything? And I want to help. Maybe some of you who say these things kind of realize that you may not be saying what you mean to say, or you may not really be be aware of maybe it's not necessarily damage, but some misinformation that's being shared. And I'm sure some of these things, you probably should pull over before you start putting your hand in the air and saying preach, because I'm on with some of this stuff. And the first one is detoxing. I hear that so much. I see it. There's a smoothie place over here that I like going to. If I just kind of want like a green smoothie or something in the morning, and they have like detox juices, like get your 3-week detox, 4-week, 6-week detox, whatever it is. And it always irks me. Whenever I see this on like Facebook, or I have friends who are like, oh, I'm on this detox, I'm doing this and that and the other, and trying to just make myself really just reset my system and things like that. And something we need to really understand is detoxing necessarily isn't really a thing. Our body does a great job of detoxing itself. We have liver, we have kidneys, we have our lungs, we have skin. All of our major organs do an amazing job of flushing it out. Of course, your lungs may have a little more problems if you're smoking. If you do, please stop. It's not good for you and those around you, and I'm sure the ones who love you are concerned. But that's what I'm talking about smoking at all. I'm talking about detoxing, which our body does very well. I know for me, I don't use the word detoxing. Usually I'd say I'm giving my body a break, which is not the same thing as a detox. Essentially getting out of the way. If I feel myself getting heavy, if I feel like there's a rock in my stomach, or I'm just uncomfortable or anything like that, I know something's out of balance. Something is not right. I will evaluate what I'm eating or drinking, what I'm doing, and try to find like what's going on. Like, oh well, I know I've maybe gone to a party or two, or hung out with some friends, or went out to a couple work functions and drank a little more than I normally do. My liver is screaming because it's not used to having to do this. I've eaten. It's like the holidays. Oh man. After the holidays, I felt absolutely terrible, because you're eating these pies and these cakes, and you're going to families' houses, and like, oh, I made you vegan peanut butter cookies. I'm like, awesome, and you're eating a handful of cookies, and you end up, eating way too much or the wrong stuff, and your body freaks out. And then the initial thing I hear people all the time is like, oh, we got to detox after the holidays, and I'm just gonna go on a 4-week juice cleanse and detox. Body will detox. What you need to do is get out of its way. Meaning, trying to refrain from intake of excess sugar, excess fat, excess alcohol, caffeine, and allow your body, because allow your body to do its natural process. Because again, if you're ingesting a lot of heavy like fats and a lot of oils and sugar and things like that, your body, who is cleaning these things out and doing its job and filtering things out, if you're just shoving more and more into it and through it, it's not going to be efficient enough to kind of get everything settled out and back to a level playing field. And getting out of its way and saying, all right, for me, if I'm going to quote detox, I'm like, okay, so instead of on the weekends, I always have like a sweet, like a donut or something like that. I'm not going to do that for the next couple of weeks. Let myself kind of like re-level. I'm going to, I've had a couple more drinks than I normally do. I'm just going to like void. I'm going to do just straight water, not drink a lot of caffeine, no alcohol, anything like that, and kind of let my system flush its own self out. And that, just letting my body do its natural process, will do so much more. If you try to detox, like a juice detoxing, all you're really doing is cutting your calories down dramatically, drinking a lot of sugar, and that's kind of it. You're going to feel really good because you just basically gave yourself a crap ton of glucose into your brain, and your brain's like, yay! And in reality, you're just drastically cutting the amount of nutrients and vitamins and minerals, fiber, everything you need, your body needs to function to make new cells and to turn what would have been nutrients into, and convert them over to be, usable by your system. You're taking that away. So you're basically feeling terrible, getting a dose of sugar, feeling amazing because you just jacked yourself up on, essentially you just jacked yourself up on plant Mountain Dew. I'm well aware of the type of person that I am. And you're flying high on sugar, you're going to crash again. Detoxing, by what people normally say detoxing of like juicing or just doing like lemon water like that. That's not a thing. It's actually very bad for you, and you're just get out of your body's way. And if anything, reduce your intake of heavy fats, processed foods, even processed vegan foods, sugar, alcohol, caffeine. Just let your body get rid of what you have in your system already, and give opportunity to catch up to the insanity that you throw at it. And you're going to be just as happy, and you're not going to cut your calories. You're not going to feel absolutely terrible. If anything, you have the adverse effect. You'll feel so much better because you're giving yourself whole food, plant-based diet. You're not taking in all the extra garbage you normally would. Get your body actually catch up and where it can actually take on more of you if you're throwing it at it. I thought part of that, I think, is, what people will say is, everything in moderation. And whenever I hear that, it drives me crazy. And I think it kind of relates to the detoxing. Well, everything in moderation, I should be fine. And it's that word moderation. I hear it more when I'm talking to someone, or I see somebody talking to a person who is not vegetarian or vegan. I'm like, well, yeah, but I know bacon causes cancer. I know processed meat causes cancer. Blah, 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 but everything in moderation is fine. And first off, no. If something is a class 1 carcinogen of its studies, we know that it does. It's no. Not even that in moderation is good. But then define moderation. And usually when somebody says something like that to me, of like, it's fine in moderation, eating this or drinking this or smoking that or whatever, it's fine in moderation. I always ask them, well, define moderation. How do you define what moderate is to you or anyone else? And they kind of can't. And most people couldn't do that. Because moderation isn't really a thing. It's kind of like saying it's like saying normal. Well, that's not normal. Well, what's normal? Can you define normal? Well, no. You can define average. You could define moderation as the minimum acceptable within a diet. So, if you're supposed to get anywhere from you shouldn't get any more than 10 grams of a certain vitamin. Your moderation could say, 10 to 12. Well, you're hitting the minimum. You could say that's moderation. But again, define moderation. The moderation for me is not the same for you. And, for me, what I consider moderation is something that I allow myself to have access to on a rare occasion that doesn't derail my goals, or derail my personal plan for myself. For example, like I had weight control issues my entire life. So I know having a lot of things that are high in fat, a lot of things that are sugary, things like that, I shouldn't be just throwing down my gullet. But so I tend to eat sweeter things on the weekend. Like, okay, it's Saturday, we went out for lunch. Let's go and stop by the donut shop and grab a vegan donut to have with, a cup of coffee or something. That's something I do only on the weekend. I don't keep sweets in the house for that reason. Like, my girlfriend, she'll come home. She's like, they had vegan cookies at Whole Foods. I'm like, that's awesome. It's Monday. You are aware that I'm not going to touch those until like maybe Saturday if they're still good. I know. I'm like, okay. And part of that self-control. But again, define moderation. And I always find it funny when someone tries to use the phrase moderation in defending something that is bad, like knowingly bad for you, like a processed meat or bacon, all these stuff that's like we know causes cancer, or they use it as a valid excuse to not address a problem. So if someone is they talk to you and they're like, I want to go be only vegetarian, for example, I want to cut meat out, but like, is chicken really that bad in moderation? Define moderation, and when somebody says that, I was like, well, yes, it's not good for you. You don't need dietary cholesterol and all these things, but you're also contributing to a lot of sadness that even doing it in moderation, you're still contributing to it. So when we talk about something in moderation, I think it's important to avoid that phrase because we do it too. Like, well, it's okay to have, the Gardein or the fake meats, just in moderation. Again, you're opening that door. Your moderation to you could be once a month. Moderation to someone else could be once a day because they're not just inhaling it. So when you talk to someone about maybe their cheat meal or cheat days or these little treats and things they want to do, void the concept of everything in moderation and let them know that, well, a whole food plant-based diet is optimal for your overall health. If you feel the need to, indulge a little bit, set yourself a minimum and a time frame to allow for that minimum. Again, for me, my minimum is only on the weekend, maybe once or twice, and that's it. And I stick to that, and that keeps it right for me. But everything in moderation, we got to be careful about that phrasing. The next two things, they kind of focus more on your physical health as far as in the gym. The first one being no pain, no gain. This has been around for a long, long time, and the problem I have with it, and the sentiment there is fair. If you don't feel the reason, you're not sore, you're not feeling it, then you're not really doing anything. Which has been proven to not be true. You can actually have gains through cardiovascular and weight bearing exercise, still have gains without having overly sore. The problem where no pain, no gain comes in, and that we should really, from a health standpoint, should really not say is that people contribute that to, well, if I'm not in pain, then I'm not doing something. So someone who is not aware, not educated enough, says, well, my shoulders are on fire and that really, really hurts, but that means I'm working really well. No, you're doing too much weight or you're not doing a good form and you're damaging the joint in your shoulder and you're not able to move your arms tomorrow in a bad way. So I think no pain, no gain is, though it's fun and it has that kind of has that rhyme to it. We should really watch when we say that, unless we're saying someone who understands in between being uncomfortable and pushing your body just past the threshold to improve, and someone who doesn't understand the difference between that and I'm hurting, but so it must be right. So when you're in the gym, you hear somebody say like no pain, no gain. It's like, well, dude, are you hurt or are you uncomfortable? There's a massive difference. And it's important for us to recognize that and to really talk to our training partners and really talk to the people who are saying that. It's like, man, is he hurt or is he okay? Something be very aware of. So, our fellow athletes, our fellow, health enthusiasts, and just our fellow human beings aren't being injured because they may not have a full understanding of what is safe pain and what is unsafe damage pain. Another thing I see this honestly, I see it in like the vegan bodybuilding groups, and these guys, there's thousands of members and everyone's very well educated. I even see this advice being given out, and like it's not true, and it causes massive debates at times of spot reducing, spot training for weight loss. I have weight around my butt. I have weight around my hips. I have weight around my chest, my back, whatever it is. How do I get rid of this? And people are like, well, if you cut your carbs in half and then you just do like these 4 different ab exercises, it's really going to flatten your stomach. No. Flat spot reduction and training to remove weight and fat from a specific area used doing specific diets and exercises is not how your body works. Women tend to hold the weight a little lower, hold the weight in their legs and their hips and the butt and lower belly. Men tend to hold it in their belly and our chest, and our back and things like that. And again, that's, it's physiological. Women tend to hold there because that's where babies come from. So, and the kids, I'm sorry if you're in the car, parents, warning, but, that's what women tend to hold. So, but your body, you're going to hold weight typically based on roughly where your body tends to hold weight, usually on your gender or primarily your genetics. But the same thing works for weight loss. You don't lose weight in one area by doing a certain exercise or a certain diet. Your body will lose weight overall, may lose weight in some areas faster than others. You hear people complain about this, like, oh, I'm running and I'm lifting weights and I'm doing the cardio. You know, my tummy's getting smaller and getting flat, but I still got this butt. Well, just like Dory said, just keep swimming, right? You got to keep going. You may lose all your weight in one spot, and it's taking forever. It takes time. You know, you can't do 1,000 crunches and have a flat stomach and lose your weight there. You're gonna have to do your cardio and do your weights. For me, I was over 300 pounds, and I'm well under that now. And for me, it was, you know, just eye on the prize. You know, having I want my shirts to fit and pants fit in a certain way and look good. You know, I'm on the mirror going, yeah, this is nice. You know, and understanding that I have trouble areas, and it's just going to take time. I may, you know, lose weight in, you know, my gut, but my back is still whatever, you know. And I can't do anything special. I can't do anything special like rowing exercises or lifting exercises to reduce that. What I can do is have, you know, workout, do full body workouts, make sure I'm hitting every area. So as I'm losing that weight, when it comes off, I have a good base. I'm uncovering in a sense. And that's as important to remember as well. When you're talking to someone who really wants to lose weight, like, man, my hips won't go away. You know, I can't get rid of my hips. You tell them, you know, like, oh, we'll do these exercises to help get rid of weight in that area. No. Healthy plant-based diet, cardio and weights, weight loss, very simple, and it takes time. You can't spot reduce. You can't spot train for weight loss. The final thing is I feel like I can already feel the hate mail coming at me. I can hear somebody looking at their phone or the radio right now going like, no. And so I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to all of our hearts. Vegetarians, vegans, plant-based, health people all alike. Organics. Okay, now give still for it before you just pull out pitchforks and tiki torches. Okay, calm down. We tend to hold organics in such a high regard and claim they have these miracle benefits, so much higher in nutrients and vitamin and minerals. There's not any studies that show that they're higher in nutrients. That's the thing that's the difference. Is we look at organic, you know, tomatoes and potatoes and avocados and, you know, versus their non-organic, you know, bastardized brethren, and we say, oh, well, you know, they're going to be healthier for me because they're higher nutrients and they weren't, you know, they're not GMO'd and stuff like that. But it's not a nutrient content issue. Like studies have been done to compare organic bananas to non-organic, things like that. What we find is the nutrient value within the two are virtually the same. I say virtually because not all bananas are created equal. Not all apples are created equal. So you're going to have some variances anyway, but they're essentially the same. Well, what you do have, to be fair, to everyone out there, to be fair, you are going to have a slightly higher antioxidant. You are going to have a lower pesticide residue, especially if especially important if you eat the skin, like an apple or a potato. You're eating the skin, and it has shown, even though those are lower yield in the fields, it has shown to have better biodiversity, be better for pollinating insects and animals such as bees and birds and butterflies. And the soil and the water quality are much better, and they emit less greenhouse gases, and because it takes a lot less greenhouse gases to produce. So I'm not arguing against choosing organic. By all means, if you have the ability, and you know, organics are a little more expensive, so you have the financial means, choose organic where possible. You have the Dirty Dozen. You can. I'll try to post it in the show notes, but you can find it easily. Go to Google, Dirty Dozen. It'll literally just list them for you. Those are ones you should always buy organic. I always try to make sure I buy organic on something that I'm going to eat the whole thing. Especially like carrots, potato, root vegetables, always. But anything where it's thin-skinned and or I'm eating the skin itself, I buy organic, primarily because of that 30% lower pesticide residue. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I know if I eat a Granny Smith apple that's non-organic, that's, you know, traditional, and if I eat a Granny Smith apple that is organic, which is those what I have sitting on the counter there, I know the grains with apple and both of them are going to have the same nutritional value, but I'm doing less environmental impact with the organic, and I'm also going to have less of the pesticide residue going into my body and causing all kinds of crazy business. So it's not so much that I'm trying to scare people away from helping. I'm not trying to scare people away from trying to be healthier and healthy. The point is, what I'm trying to make is we need to be aware of what we're saying. We need to be aware of when we're talking to people who may not understand. If I talk to someone about detoxing, they're not going to understand. One, they may be quick enough to go like, detoxing is not a thing, and I go, well, that's true, but it's I try to word it in a way that talks about getting out. I would say get out of your body's way and let your body do what it does naturally. Your body naturally filters out things out of your blood and your urine and things like that, and your kidneys, your liver, everything. They do a great job filtering and detoxing. Same thing with when it comes to no pain, no gain. My girlfriend goes to the gym with me and she's like, I can't hurt. So I'm like, okay, is it uncomfortable or does it hurt? There's a massive difference. Uncomfortable means you're getting pushed past a limit, which is different than hurting, where we're doing benching, we're doing like dumbbell benches. Is your shoulder in pain, or is it just like hard to push up? And that's different. I mean, you're going past the threshold, which is good for actually gaining muscle and gaining tone. So it's back to how we talk to each other, how we talk to friends and family, or even strangers when they're asking questions and trying to understand a concept. Not making the mistake of saying blanket statements and understanding that some of the things we say are incorrect information that keeps getting passed around, or it's detrimental to what we're trying to do, because once you say something like you should detox and they learn detox is not a thing, it makes them question you. It also makes them question others who are plant-based and trying to help them make that transition. And that's really the main thing I want to get into. And if it's something that I missed, if you want to, do you want to talk about organics? Want to have a back and forth an email with me? Let me know. If you would like to come on the show and talk about organics, maybe you're an organic farmer and maybe I was wrong and you want to have a conversation. Love to have you on. I do want to read one thing real quick. We don't have a review, which makes me sad. Sad Panda, sad David, sad Geek. Please send reviews, post reviews on iTunes. But I had a person on our Instagram with the handle Haley_Brooke with an E.C. She posted on our Instagram, thank you so much for your podcast. I am new to the vegan world and currently starting my plant-based transition after so much research, and your podcast has been so inspirational and motivating to me. Keep them coming. You're awesome. And I asked Haley, it's okay to read this. She said it was good. She was okay. And Haley, as I said on Instagram, and that's an old photo too, man. It's you're hunting for that one. Actually, it's a year old now. But I said Instagram, thank you so much for the kind words, guys. When when I get emails or I get reviews or social media messages, let me know that what we're doing is it's at least making if it's inspiring you or making you think or anything that lets me know that what I'm doing is not that it's not necessarily it's not in vain. It lets me know that it's definitely worth like the late nights and the research and the studying and the putting something together for you guys and really putting myself out there. Someone who has like really bad social anxiety, it's really hard doing the show, from the beginning anyway, and then through all the issues and then keeping it going is kind of like makes my anxiety kind of go through the roof, and it kind of helps me work through that. But Haley, thank you for that. Like I said, it really gives me purpose and kind of keeps me pushing with this. If you have any other stories think that you'd like to share, please do. Right before recording, there was a person on Instagram who just like shared like, hey, if Curiosity Veg, and there's another one, another podcast I mentioned that has helped them, with their transition and their journey. And it's one of those. It's like a big smile comes over my face because I actually know that like you like me, you really like me, and that you really like what we're doing. And when you go do that, it's as much as an inspiration to me Probably, more so than maybe it is to you. I don't know. I hope I'm not taking down, and taking away from, your journey and what y'all are going through. I love to hear about something I say or something we do, and maybe something to hear more of, to kind of help you with that journey and keep you moving forward. So again, if you want to be a guest on the show, come and chat with me so you're not hearing me just talk to myself for about half an hour at this point. CuriosityVeg@gmail.com. You can also go to the website, CuriosityVegRadio.com. Go to the contact, shoot me a message. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Best place to do it is go to the website, click the button at the bottom, take you right to it. Like us, follow us, all the fun stuff so you can keep track of everything we're doing. New episodes come out. And I'll look forward to talking to you guys in a couple of weeks. Until then, bye, guys.